Cat and Moose podcast. I'm Cat.
And I'm Moose. This is a true life podcast where we explore the quirks of being human. Hey, Cat.
Hey, Moose.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, fellows.
We're doing it again.
She called us fellows.
Fellows. Are you a fellow?
Maybe a fella. I feel more like a fella than a fellow.
I feel a little bit more like a fellow because it makes me feel academic.
It does feel academic.
Yeah. I am a fellow.
I once won a fellowship to go to New York City, so I'm a fellow.
You are a fellow. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So I was in class this week. You guys, I am like a month away.
Oh, you're so close.
Oh my gosh. Like April 24th, I think, is my last turn-in date for my thesis.
Is there a party?
We need to have, I think this is our party, the three of us. Maybe invite a couple others.
The podcast is our party?
Well, yeah, we could celebrate on who else would we invite?
Well, that's not really my point. My point is that I want you to be and feel really celebrated for what a big accomplishment this is.
Oh, okay.
Like, this is huge, and I just want you to feel honored. And if you feeling honored is sitting in this room with the two of us, the six of us, however many of us are in here.
Well, now that you say
how many do you think are in here?
Well, I'm counting the dogs. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 5. I thought there might be a hidden cat.
There could be a cat in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of that, I had to turn in some sort of thing called an absentee something, basically saying I wasn't going to walk at graduation.
Oh, okay.
And I really thought about it because I'm like, well, this is to your point, like this is a big deal.
Yeah,
like,
it's huge.
But I also am like, I'm too efficient with my life. I don't want to sit anywhere for 2.5 hours
and listen to some damn speech.
Are you kidding me?
And now the diploma goes to Daniel Jones, and now the diploma goes to Daniel Smith, and now that
you're like, they're still on H, and we're we have to go to Z.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But I thought it could be fun. All of the tourists that come into Nashville, we recognize them because they wear short jean skirts,
yes,
cowboy boots.
Yes,
they think we as Nashvillians dress this way because they've seen some country music.
Don't you?
Yeah,
I definitely do not.
Only on Tuesday nights when I go to Broadway.
I wear survival gear. I wear things that keep my body from falling apart. I do not wear cowboy boots and jean.
Can we come back
shorts.
to that? Because I want to talk about comfortability when we get old. But all that to say, just like so then you have the bachelorettes that come in and they've got like a full sash on.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm asking you guys is maybe our version of a bachelorette party is a graduation party and we all wear graduation gowns and caps and like go karaokeing and like, wait, why don't you
wait, like
yeah, wait, just so you know, you called my ass out last week and it got edited on something, but you just said to me, which means...
Okay, what does it mean to you?
You tell me.
Well, no, please tell me what it meant to you.
Well, to me, means that's not happening.
And I was still stuck on you wanted me. What I heard was not this is what I heard. This is a great proof of like how we do as human, or how I do as a human. What I heard was, instead of a bachelorette party, all of us are going to wear cowboy boots and shorts and we're going to go downtown. I didn't hear the graduation gown.
Yeah.
I didn't know the context. I immediately was like, I'm not going to do that.
I mean, I just want to say the first thing that comes up when you say jean short or jean skirt, when I hear you say it back to me, is chafing between my legs. After a night of drinking, like you would really have to wear some like tight shorts under there, right?
Yeah, like, okay, when is the last time that has actually happened to you? That's what I want to know. Because that is a trauma from a long time ago.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
Oh, I have a great story. Do you have a story about chafing?
No.
Okay, true story. I always say 12 years old on any trauma. So let's go with 12 years old.
Okay.
I might have been older, I might have been younger. But I went to Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. It's like the Six Flags of Ohio.
So fun.
Yeah. I mean, Cedar Point's cool too, right? But Kings Island with some friends. And I must have been younger because we had a chaperone. And I was in so much pain from the chafing that happened with the shorts that I was wearing. And I wasn't like a chubby little girl. My legs were just chafing. I was a cute kind of chubby little girl. But so I asked the chaperone if I could have the keys to the car. And this is the summer, you guys. They gave me the keys and I went and sat in the car because I couldn't walk one more step.
I got you.
I couldn't walk one more step.
So you just hit it.
And I just remember like leaning down, pulling my thigh back and just seeing this exposed blister. And then it was awful. And so that is my trauma. So I'm not wearing that unless I've got some good chafing underpants.
Yeah. Good. I'm so glad. So could we go back to what the celebration looks like now that I can hear it with not my trauma ears? I would like to hear it. So you want the three of us to get together and wear graduation gowns and caps. Is that the vision for the graduation party?
I mean, I just noticed my body language like closing up. Let me think about what I want to celebrate.
Okay.
I would like for the three of us to take some ridiculous pictures related to me graduating. One that I can actually put on my wall with maybe a couple other friends too. Yeah. And just like a celebration, I can be in my cap and gown. I want that as a memory. So I can look back in 20 years and be like, oh, look what I did.
I love that.
And then it'll look like we just walked out of the ceremony, but nobody will know.
But why are we wearing the cap and gowns?
That was more of the Broadway thing. Well, I think we've moved past that. Yeah. I mean, if you guys want to wear the cap and gown, I don't know. It was an idea and I think I'm moving past it.
Okay.
And then I would like to go to a really nice dinner at like Kane Prime.
Okay.
That sounds great. Kat, I'm sorry I cut you off.
Oh, that's okay. I'm fine. I'm
good.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm good. I learned about boundary setting last week and I came in.
We had a thing.
This has... I just cut you off too. This has nothing to do with what I wanted to share.
Oh, well,
I just looked up and I was like, this is nothing.
Yeah. What do you want to share, Moose?
So very quickly. So in my readings in school, 4 weeks away from graduation, that's how we got there. There's this book that I just got called Fierce Conversations, but I just got it, and part of my reading this week was a chapter of that book, and I just want to read this because it's sort of inspired by this Rumi poem, and you guys know I love Rumi. And here's what this little paragraph says. For many people, the answer to the question, "What's the opposite of talking?" is waiting to talk. Many people think that not speaking when someone is talking is the same as listening. Hearing people's words is only the beginning. Do you also hear their fears, their intentions, their aspirations? In the words of the 13th century Sufi poet Rumi, reach your long hands out to another door beyond where you go on the street where everyone says, how are you? And no one says, how aren't you? And it struck me, how aren't you? And so I thought it would be fun, even though I just went through 12 days of talking about graduating, to start the podcast by saying, how aren't you?
How aren't
Because how are you always feels so like sweeping.
Right.
Like, do you really give a shit?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Are you asking me?
Well, let's begin with you, Kat.
Okay. How aren't I?
Yes.
I am not feeling in emotional or wow.
It's okay.
Well, how am I? I am not speaking English. That is how I am.
I was hoping you were going to say, I aren't.
How I'm not feeling, how I aren't feeling, that's for you.
Oh, thank you.
Is I don't feel distressed.
Oh, wow.
I don't feel under the gun. I don't feel like I am being pressured by anyone. I don't feel like I'm being pressured by a schedule or a job or anything like that. And I have done my job today.
Yeah.
And we are doing the podcast right now, which to me is part of my job. And I've been a part of a bodywork session today. That's also a part of my job. And like, I don't feel like any of that is out of balance.
Yeah.
And that is a really enjoyable feeling, to feel like I am not out of balance.
I love that.
I'm loving it too.
It's amazing.
I love that you knew immediately how you aren't, because that was hard for me. How aren't you, Sarah?
I aren't not.
Triple negatives.
How aren't I?
It's a hard question,
It is
right?
hard.
Okay, I'm going to try.
Okay.
I am not covered in anxiety today, which is big. And part of that is I've been able to do a lot of creative things today. So I think that brings me energy instead of depleting my energy. So I aren't full of anxiety today.
Nice. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. Do you have any aren'ts?
Yeah, but it feels like looking in the mirror and trying to like do your hair, where it's like a backwards thing.
Yeah.
I aren't. Basically, I'm not sleepy today.
Oh.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel rested, and
Nice.
that's not common for me, at least in the last several weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been nice. I've also been on a break, but I'm not like overwhelmed with needing rest.
That's good.
Wow.
I am
that.
also not. I feel like lately I give less shits about what people think. And that feels great.
I bought a card this week. May I share my experience of
Yes,
this?
please.
Okay.
I will now allow you to speak.
Thank you. Last Friday, I had some free time,
Okay.
and I was in between an appointment and an appointment I thought might happen. And so I stayed in the part of town where I thought the appointment might happen.
Sure.
And I had about an hour and a half to myself. And I didn't know what to do with myself, because I don't do a lot of that. I don't do a lot of like, I have an hour and a half to do whatever the hell I want to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was over in Brentwood, and there's a store over in Brentwood called Paper Source.
Oh, yeah.
And if you know me at all,
yes,
I love this store.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this store. I love to wrap presents. I love to be really intentional in how I choose to wrap them. I make a lot of, actually, I don't make a lot of handmade cards anymore. I do for my mom.
Yeah.
I make my mom handmade cards. And sometimes
that's cool.
Yeah, sometimes my sister. But
That's really cool.
I've never gotten a handmade card.
no,
from you.
it's not. It's something that is pretty
I can't
reserved
wait
for my mom.
first one.
Well,
Wow.
graduation may,
Maybe
be that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to me.
Enough about me. Let's talk about me.
So I have some more to share, Kat.
And so
Paper
I was
Source.
So I was over in Brentwood and Paper Source, and I spent probably about 45 to 50 minutes looking at every greeting card,
Oh, yeah.
every little game, every little diary of Zen, whatever, every little cube that you can sit on your desk and flip to get encouraging messages every day. I mean, I looked at all that stuff. And then when I kind of realized my lunch thing that I thought might happen probably wasn't going to happen, I went to my favorite little restaurant in Brentwood. It's called Soy Bistro. And I went and I ordered myself the bibimbap, which is my favorite thing in the world.
I love a beat and bop.
Me too.
Jesus, Lord in heaven.
Did you just say beat and bop?
Yeah.
It's bib im bop.
I thought you just said
Bibimbap.
beat and bop.
Bibimbap.
Oh,
You kind of
bibimbap.
bibimbap.
Yeah, that's what I
Bibimbap.
said.
Beep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought I heard too. Anyway, and I ordered myself that, and I waited like 15 minutes for them to give it to me for me to take home, and which I took it home and ate it, and it was fine. I really enjoyed that space.
Yes.
I don't ever do that for myself.
Why?
I don't know. And I thought to myself, like, I felt like God. I felt like I saw the 7 days and it was good. And I said, it was good. Like, I felt like I saw that moment for myself and I was like, this is good. Yeah. This was really good for me to do. And so, I think that this means that we are on the backside of midlife crisis.
I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking, what was that like to walk into a store?
Right.
I mean, honestly, when I have to meet, and this is not me being agoraphobic. This is separate from that. But like, when I go into a store, I am like, wow, people still like shop and walk in to look for clothes. And like, you sounded like you were describing like an old school Hallmark store.
Oh, yeah.
Which I love.
It's like beautifully curated.
Yeah.
It's like Hallmark on crack.
On like bohemian crack.
Yes, because like the car, every single card is fantastic. Let me tell you about the one that I saw, and that was my whole point, was to tell you about the one that I got for you. So don't let me forget that.
Oh.
The one that I saw, that I was in the store, I literally went, like I laughed out loud. It said, "Congratulations on being 9 months sober." And then in tiny font, parentheses, it said, "Oh, and the baby."
Oh my gosh. That's good.
It was so funny. The card that I bought you has this woman on the...
Well, let's be clear. That was not the card.
That was not for you. And I did not buy that card.
Okay, good.
I didn't, but I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
The card that I bought you has this lady on the front of it that has this giant shopping bag. And she goes, "Hi, this is my bag of how many fucks I don't give." And I totally bought it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I think that does happen at midlife, where you hit an age where you're like, what am I doing?
Right.
I'm like doing all these things that socially line up, but they're not giving me life.
No.
And so you're just like, I really don't care anymore what you think. It's hard to get to. I would love to completely get there.
Yeah.
But at some point, I think people respect you for doing what you love and what you care about and what's meaningful to you than they do like judging. Well, they're still judgers.
They're still judgers. And I think that like, at least for me at this age and this time, every time I get to just have a little touch and go with that feeling of like, I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm doing for me. It feels exhilarating.
Yeah. I know what you mean, where you have space. Like, I don't ever build in space. I like build in time to get somewhere and then sit for 15 minutes to like breathe and chill or whatever.
What's that like?
Well, it's called over preparation and neuroticism.
But we talked about that on the podcast a few weeks ago. I can't remember what it is called.
I was asking, like, I was emphasizing that getting there early is being on time.
Yeah, we did talk about that. I remember.
So you had bodywork today. Can you tell us about that?
I mean, I am willing to talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
I have a lot to process. It was a fantastic appointment, really, really powerful. And I did like parts work that I wasn't really prepared to do.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily know that we go into a therapeutic situation going, "Hi, I'm Kat and I'm going to do some parts work." Maybe we do. Yeah. I do. In this instance today, I did not. And I know that happens a lot in my bodywork sessions. But today I didn't. I went in saying, I feel really balanced today. Like I was almost like, why am I here? You know, I mean, I was very glad to be there, but I didn't have this like, please help me from this horrible thing that I need freedom from. Like it wasn't like that today.
Yeah.
And it was mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing. First of all, my practitioner is amazing.
Yeah.
Secondly, the modality that is the same one that I've been studying, I think is so powerful. It's local distal acupressure met with like Ericksonian psychology theory. And,
the old Ericksonian.
Yeah. It was just a fantastic session. And then I came here.
Well, then.
And I was like, what is going on in my life? And I had a colleague call me on the way here and say, how can I help you do the thing so that you can go do your podcast? And I was like, what is happening right now? Like, this is awesome. And it just felt so good.
Well, goodness, you've had quite the day. Can we go into what parts you might have talked to? You don't have to tell us everything, but like, we love parts work here. And I'm just curious if who you might have spoken to.
Okay, I'll say that, and because it's going to be an ongoing thing, and I think it's going to be a relatively lengthy and relatively full of a lot of tears thing. But I had a conversation with my stomach.
Oh, good.
Yeah, my stomach is always upset.
Oh, okay.
My stomach is always tight. My stomach is where I carry, I think, the thickest of my armoring, if you will.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with my stomach today, and I uncovered some really interesting stuff.
Wow.
And
so for you, that is your body is holding that, whatever it is.
Yeah. I feel like I can say like very confidently, like when people go, where do you carry your stress? I'm like right here.
Yeah.
Like right in my solar plexus, like right at the bottom of the xiphoid process and
your perineum.
And my perineum. I do not carry.
Don't leave out.
I wish I carried my stress in my perineum.
No, it would just fall out the bottom.
Well, no, then I would just have sex all the time and make it better, right?
Wow.
It could just have release.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. There's 2 orifices for it to come out of.
Orifices.
Wow. Orifices.
I like to only have sex through one of the orifices.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
Okay. Got it.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Very vulnerable moment.
So your solar plexus is where you carry it all.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think mine is here too.
Really?
Is this my solar plexus?
Yeah. Yeah. It's in that vicinity. Yeah.
Where's yours, Sarah?
In my neck, where my neck meets my shoulders.
What? I almost said, what karma is that? What's it called?
Chakra?
Chakra is that?
Chakra.
Her throat, maybe?
Yeah. I think it is the neck, the throat, and also like I've heard it said, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but I've heard it said that like the bridge between the head and the heart is the neck.
Wow.
And so the bridge between what happens in our minds and what happens in our bodies, the bridge is the neck, and no wonder it's so tense.
No, that makes so much sense.
Doesn't it make a ton of sense? And there's a ton of wonderful acupressure points or acupuncture points, whatever, like pressure points that can be a part of helping the neck maybe release some of its tension from, always being that bridge. But I found that to be so beautiful.
Okay, think about that from us using our voice perspective. Whenever I'm talking to my therapist about something that's hard, and it doesn't even have to be something that is grief related, but something that is like, say it's something I've always wanted to do, but I haven't put the time or whatever into it. And you finally like speak it and you're like, you know what I would like to do? I'd like to write a book or whatever it is. I always find that my voice naturally clamps up, and my therapist always says, she always says, did you hear your body showing you how important that is or whatever? Wow. And so the bridge thing is so important because so many times we're stuck in our head, or some people, they're stuck in their heart. And what could it look like to keep that free flowing? And is the voice a way to do that?
I mean, the answer is, I think the answer is yes. And I think like Moose, like when you share about stuff on the podcast that is really vulnerable or really meaningful to you, or something that has really moved you, your voice always quivers.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful. Like it's like when I know, like as your friend, it's when I feel like I know, like, pay attention. This is important. Yeah. Like it's really, to me, it's very, very beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing to notice. Like, okay, this seems important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you spoke to your stomach. Did it tell you anything?
Oh, it told me all kinds of stuff. It is mad as hell at me.
Oh, it is?
Oh, yeah. It's mad at me. It's mad at me for how hard I have asked it to work for so many years. Yeah.
And what kind of work do you mean?
To carry all my stress.
Oh, I see.
To carry the weight of the world as a 10-year-old. I mean, I was medevaced from Germany when we lived in Germany.
I know you've shared this story, and like, I don't think until you've shared it that you recognize the weight of it.
Yeah.
You were medevaced from Germany.
I was medevaced from Germany because of my quote unquote stomach issues. And I had upper GIs, lower GI. I had every test you could give a person, and they could not find anything wrong with me. And that is still my situation today. I have this not constant, I have a chronic pain in my chest that I've been to every doctor that can deal with something in the chest, and they're just like, you got nothing, you know? And it's like, I feel like I know now that is a stress from my stomach, like coming up into my chest. And I felt like at 10 years old, I was worried about nuclear warfare.
Yeah.
And so
it makes sense.
I carried the stress of what I heard on the world news and what I knew that my mom and dad were both a part of trying to keep us safe from by being, civilians that worked in a military situation. Like I have carried my stress in my stomach from a very, very early age. And I think that my stomach is like, damn it, we need a break. We need you to back up and let us have a little bit of a break. So yeah, my stomach was pissed.
Let's take a deep breath. What are you going to let go of?
Oh, I don't know. I am so, even in my session today, I was like, I'm not ready to do that. Like, I think just acknowledging that this area has been holding this chronic tension for so long. If I just did that for a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Just acknowledge you that you have carried this tension, then that would be enough. I want to do more than that. I want to move faster than that if I can, if it's productive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool.
Gosh, I think parts work is so fascinating. I had a friend that was asking tons of questions about it, trying to understand it. And I was like, you need to read Dr. Schwartz's book.
So good.
It's so good. But
and that's the one that's called There Are No Bad Parts.
No
right?
Bad Parts.
No Bad Parts.
Yeah. And there's like a 2017 interview that I directed my friend to that I just wanted to mention if people don't want to read the book, which I get. It's Alanis Morissette's, I think it's called A Conversation with Alanis Morissette. She even wrote the foreword on his book. But I mean, I feel like IFS work is very popular now, but I mean, that was 7 years ago, and she was one of the first people to really adopt his work. But anyway, there is an interview of her with Dr. Dick Schwartz talking about IFS work. But the way I explained it, and I wrote it down because I was like, I'm going to try to remember this. This is what I wrote. I believe we are meant to exist with all of our parts, make peace with them, making sure they see us as we are in the present. Wow. That's something my therapist does with me all the time is after we've talked to that part, she'll say, do they see you as you are now?
And do they?
No.
No. Okay.
They see me as a 17-year-old struggling with the same thing.
Huh.
And they are like, you have a house? What? You have a dog? That's so cool. You have a job? I mean, and so you kind of talk to that part saying like, whoa, like, I totally hear you. Can I tell you a couple things though? And you just go like, let me tell you, did you know, like we got through this and we got through this and usually they're stuck. And then I said, so after you see if they see you in the present, then ask when they took on the job that they're doing.
Jeez.
That's what I just wrote this down based on my own experience. So when was it that you took on protecting me, as an example? And and then you ask them, do you like your job?
Wow.
Yeah. And if they don't, you tell them, is there anything else? Or you ask them, is there anything else you'd like to do?
Like a different job.
Different job. You can do another job if you're tired of doing this job.
Huh.
And that gives them the freedom of like recognizing.
And do your parts like just come up with that shit like right away?
Yeah. And
Really?
only because I think I have spent time with my therapist, like building that safe space.
So like my stomach could have a new job of being a healing arts practitioner.
Yeah. It can do anything.
God, that's amazing.
But you got to ask it what it wants to do.
Right.
It doesn't know that it shouldn't keep clenching.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Well, that's beautiful.
That's the whole book. You don't even need to read the book.
This has been the cliff notes of that book.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been talking about therapy and body work and a lot of really deep stuff. And I would like to give our listeners, I don't think there are many of them, but I think there are a few of them who would really, no, there's a lot of listeners. No, I'm not, sorry, I didn't mean that like that. I don't think that there are many of them who aren't willing to go there with us.
Right.
And I want to honor that there might be a couple that they're like, can you just say something funny? Because you guys used to laugh all the time. And now you're just talking about all your inner child work and all that shit.
I think that is your stomach speaking up.
It is my stomach speaking up. And my stomach has been invited to the conversation.
It's here. Come on.
And it's here and it's pissed.
And it's in the neck. It's in the throat.
Yeah, it's in the neck. It's in the throat chakra.
The bridge.
So we got so many texts.
We did.
Emails, threats, phone calls of everybody saying how incredibly huge idiots we were, that we all did not know that in the Bruce Springsteen Dancing in the Dark video, that the beautiful woman who kept like googly eyeing at him was Courtney Cox from Friends.
I mean,
so we've got to address it.
Yeah, we do have to address it. I had no idea.
I had no idea. First of all, I've never in my life seen a full episode of Friends.
Really?
Oh. So it's fair for me to say, and you can make fun of that.
Oh no,
listeners.
I mean, I have only seen a few.
I was not a Friends person. Like I wasn't.
Did you like her in Scream though? I loved her in Scream.
I don't think I saw that because I don't do scary movies.
But that was like a teenage scary movie. Like it wasn't like
I saw it.
super gory, if I remember right.
Well, I need to go watch it tonight. Apparently,
it was like the Dawson's Creek of horror movies.
That's awesome. But anyway, in Bruce Springsteen's music video of Dancing in the Dark, it's basically him performing on stage and just having this like connection with this girl in the audience, and everybody in the world who listens to the podcast knew that was Courtney Cox, and we did not. So this is my public apology.
Yeah, we're
that
real sorry.
I am not culturally aware.
Well, I wasn't either. And I think they should redo that video.
Like do it real time?
Yeah, like Bruce now and her now.
Oh, that'd be great. He'd be pulling her up on stage and she'd have like a cane.
She's not old, dude. He's old if anything. I love following her on social media.
Oh, really?
She is a hoot.
Really?
Yeah, like her best friend. Yeah, they do all these ridiculous videos. She's so funny. And super sarcastic and makes fun of herself. But the last time I heard about Bruce, he got in trouble at a national park for smoking weed on his motorcycle.
Come on.
I mean,
seriously.
there might be one of my parts that might be judgmental about that, but it is not alive today.
Okay, good. Really? There was a part that would be.
It's dead.
Oh my gosh. Like my like super uber conservative Christian part.
I've never seen your. Okay, I have seen.
Yes, you have.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
But you're right. She's been dead for a while. We're not supposed to kill him. That's the key.
I'm like, Courtney Cox is dead.
Died.
You're talking about my
don't
part.
kill your
Courtney
parts.
Cox is live
She's
and well.
alive.
Yeah, she's fine.
Bruce is
as
just
of this
a little
episode,
high.
We started a rumor, and that's how we became famous.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Right.
Seriously.
So yeah, thank you for circling back about that.
You're welcome. And while I'm on a roll of culturally relevant things, I don't know if you guys are aware that the state of Tennessee has recently, and I think maybe it was the state of Tennessee or it was just Davidson County or just downtown Nashville, they have said officially that emotional support animals are not allowed in restaurants. Like
really?
in
I
public
didn't
places.
know that.
Yes. Now, if it's a service animal that is like, okay, you're blind and you need your golden retriever to help you get somewhere, that dog can go into the restaurant.
Gotcha.
But the bill says that the only animals now allowed in public places like restaurants are fish tanks and service animals.
Fish tanks.
You know how like the Rainforest Cafe has like a giant, which that exploded during COVID. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember it got flooded and there were like piranhas going around.
Wait. During COVID? Or was it the flood?
The flood.
Wait,
you said it
did. It broke.
During COVID?
One of their actual aquariums broke.
During COVID.
The flood.
Well, not during COVID.
You said during COVID.
Yeah, in like 2020. Look it up. It's there.
Look it up.
Look it up, girl. But during the floods of Nashville 2010, there were these fake videos of people like holding sharks.
Right.
Like as if they were in the Cumberland River.
Are you
But
serious?
there were people that were really concerned about being eaten by piranhas.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
Yes,
like
I
it was
do.
like a mass hysteria.
And it was like photoshopped, and people were like, "This happened in West
my
Mead."
leg got eaten by a fish.
Oh my God. People are so like, yeah. Okay. So back, what were we talking about?
Piranhas.
I'm bringing up.
Oh, the animals.
I'm bringing up funny things to get us away from
No,
the whole
I know.
like,
I
therapy
love that.
talk.
So
Yeah. I've got more.
Oh, well, great. hit us, Kat. All right. Hit us with the culturally relevant news.
Okay, did you guys know that if it weren't for Lucille Ball,
You know, she's one of my heroes.
and I'm curious if you know this about her, if it weren't for her, Star Trek wouldn't exist.
Did not know that.
Did you not know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
read an article, which the fact that I was on the internet is an act of God. And so, like, yay. I
mean, really?
Well, I mean, I use it for my email, but like, I don't go like look at
you
stuff.
don't?
Like,
See, look, you're creating space on the internet as well for yourself.
yeah, well, I don't post on social media. Like, I don't, I don't. And so anyway, I was reading this article that said that Desilu Studios, which is her and Desi's company, studio, whatever, that Star Trek originated there, and whoever was like in charge all the time that wasn't her, like all the worker bees that were doing all the work or whatever, they kept wanting to, like, they tried Star Trek and it just didn't catch with the audience. They did like a pilot and like nobody cared, and she fought for it and fought for it and fought for it for like 3 years.
Wow.
And then finally, all of a sudden, it was like Trekkies were born. Like, people just really, really embraced Star Trek. And I had no idea. And I'm not a Trekkie. I don't know much about Star Trek, but like, I thought it was so cool.
Interesting.
That not only was it Lucille Ball, but it was a woman who kept Star Trek alive. Like, I thought you especially would find that really interesting.
I should probably know that. I wrote a documentary about Lucille Ball's life in college and won a national award for it.
What?
Yes, I did. And it was one of my,
What was it called?
I don't know. I need to look it up. It was Lucille, and then there was like something after it. But I won this award, and she was the first woman to own a studio.
Really?
And Oprah was the second.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
She's incredible. She's incredible.
Yeah, she is
woman.
incredible. And I remember you being such a huge fan. And I can't help, but I'm not trying to dominate here, but you're just ticking off like all of my notes.
Come on.
It's so awesome that talking about like things that happened at a certain time, like she was the first woman that had a studio, and then Oprah was the second woman. So the Wright brothers, the Wright brothers, they like invented flight per se. Like they flew for the first time in 1903.
Which is so weird.
It's so weird that was like just 2 centuries ago now.
Yeah.
Wow.
The first flight took place in 1903. 66 years later, we landed on the moon.
What?
Wow.
What do you make of that?
If you believe we landed
If you believe it, if you believe it, what do you make of that?
If you believe we got a man on the moon. Man on the moon.
Man on the moon. Yes, I'm remembering
Michael Stipe.
Yeah, Michael Stipe, REM. Yeah. Such a good.
Wow. Where did you find these facts? Did you like bump into like a card catalog on the way here?
I actually got out my microfiche.
You happen to have one of those at home?
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? Some people like the internet. I like microfiche. Yeah. That's good. So we landed on the moon. And now, okay, so we have the Wright brothers, planes, landed on the moon. And then in 2024, you can no longer take a safe flight because doors fly off of planes.
Right. So don't fly on a plane, just go to space.
Yeah, just go to space, guys.
Yeah.
I just got a new shirt that says, I have never been to the moon. That's all.
Wait, can we acknowledge her face after she said it?
Yes.
I have never been to the moon. She's like so proud of herself.
Yeah, it's like I'm curious what is that?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense, and I feel like I'm going to get a lot of questions about it. And I need to come up with an answer for it.
Where did you first see the shirt to buy it?
Instagram.
Always.
I want to say it was something like useless or pointless t-shirts.com or something.
Oh my gosh. That is like the perfect website for you.
Yeah. I mean, that's really awesome. And so what took you from seeing it to purchasing?
I needed it.
Yeah.
It was like this might not even be a real website, but I need it.
Yeah. You're willing to take a chance. It's Temu and you'll get it in 3 years.
Yeah.
It was not Temu.
Did you get it?
I did. I just got it. I wore it yesterday and it fits great.
Oh,
I think your answer when people say, what is your shirt? And you just say, it's just true. I've never been to the moon.
I mean, right. And then they can feel what they want about me.
What do you think they might feel?
I don't know, but they're coming at me already with some judgment. Don't you think?
They're coming at you by asking you, what is your shirt?
They're coming at you with like machine guns.
If they're willing to talk to me about that and ask, well, what does that mean?
Well, no, they're just saying, what does your shirt mean? If they say it in that tone, I don't think they're coming at you.
That's true. I've never been to the moon. Have you?
Oh, wow.
I think in a different lifetime that I have.
You do?
I do.
Ooh.
I'm super believing in like
multiple lives,
quantum physics and multiple lives and lives in different timelines and stuff like that. And like, I love Jesus. So like, don't get me wrong. Like I've not.
That was for you Christians that are going to freak out.
It was just a side note.
That was actually for me. Like that was actually for me.
That wasn't you talking to a part. I love Jesus.
It was. Yeah. It was.
Okay. No, I hear you though. It's like you can love Jesus and believe these things.
Right. Yeah. And I think that is very true. And I think that like the moon is somewhere I've been. I just think I've been there.
I think that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I lived during the dinosaurs.
Really?
I just really want to, so that just came to me.
But like why is that something that would be?
I've always been fascinated with dinosaurs. Maybe I was a paleontologist or something. But I just think they're the coolest things, and how weird that massive monsters ruled the earth. I mean, it's just wild.
If you were a dinosaur, do you know which type of dinosaur you would be?
Not a T-Rex. I couldn't do with the short arm thing.
Brontosaurus is always my favorite, but they're not legit anymore. Is it like Pluto?
Oh, they've been exiled from the dinosaur community.
Really? They
like delegitimized it.
Wait, is Brontosaurus the like one with the long neck?
The long neck. Yeah, the long neck.
Why did you like that one?
They were gentle.
Yeah. And vegetarians.
They
love
like
plants.
vegetarians.
Yeah. I was 100% a pterodactyl.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I flew.
And you would scare the shit out of people, like flying in and swooping.
That wasn't my MO, was to scare people. Like
I don't know. I think you would enjoy that.
It's just what you do.
What do you guys think I would be? Oh, I like the Triceratops.
I always like the Triceratops too.
Is that the one with like the fan around its head?
Yeah,
I like that one a lot.
I think that's what I want to be.
Yeah. I love it.
What about little stubby legs though?
What about the megalodon?
The shark?
Well, it's like a
dinosaur
whale.
shark.
It's like a whale and a shark and a dinosaur.
That's like a whole other universe in the water.
My nephews both are really,
Oh, really?
Is it from Transformers?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I think there's a movie called Megalodon too.
I'm sure there is.
I had a conversation with a friend this week about watching true crime stuff, and it made me think of you. I know you do. Yeah. And I don't understand the fascination with it. And then I had a conversation with another friend who
aren't you rubbing it in?
Wow.
Do you have any feelings about that?
I'm joking. It's just jokes.
Okay.
But you have more friends. I have like 3.
And I do too.
Yeah,
I have 3 friends.
I'm trying to guess
and
who
one
they
of the
are.
3 came to town, and we had a lovely conversation, and she was saying that being in the profession that she is in, she works as a first responder.
Okay.
And she was saying being in the profession that she's in, when she is dealing with those high intensity, really big, like dramatic moments, is the only time that it quiets her mind.
Is the chaos?
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
Because I'm focused on this person, this thing, and the all that's going on in my mind all the time. It has to be quiet in order for me to do my job. And I love getting to do that because it helps quiet that part of my mind. And I thought that was fascinating.
It is fascinating.
And so it makes me go like, oh, those of you who love true crime or like horror films or whatever it is, it's like, oh, like it kind of made a little more sense to me.
I just like to know what's going to happen to me. And so I feel like the more I watch.
Like when someone murders you?
Yeah, like
all the scenarios.
Like the guy under the car with the knife.
Yes, with the razor blade cutting my Achilles.
Lord.
So for me, I'm like, I know it's coming, so I need to be as prepared. It's like getting your master's degree. It's like you're gonna be murdered or attacked, so become as informed as you possibly can.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Totally
and I
makes
do
sense.
appreciate what she said. And I'm curious for you guys, what does that for you? What snaps you into like a place where you're like, oh.
Mine is, there is one song on Spotify specifically. I wouldn't even call it a song, more of a track. And it's just white noise. And I put my headphones on with the, what are they called? The AirPod Max?
Yeah.
AirPod Max. Pro Maxes.
Maxi pads.
The maxi pads.
2 maxi pads.
One on each, slap one on each ear. Turn it on transparent mode. No. Turn it on isolation mode. Is that right?
I mean, they all sound lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Where it just turns off the outside world and I'm just listening to my white noise. It like tricks my brain into sleeping. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I love that.
That's your safe spot.
It's like instant for me. I can be asleep in 5 minutes.
That's good.
Love that.
What's your safe, happy, everything's clicking?
Probably being on the table.
Yeah. On or rubbing the table?
Can you maybe just explain what that means to people who don't know what that could mean?
Oh, yeah. Tell us about how you like to climb up on that table.
She just likes getting on tables.
I like getting on tables and it makes me feel at peace. Yeah, that's so awful. That's not at all what I mean.
Any kind of table?
I'm what I'm referring to is a table for bodywork. Like I have been taught by the community of people that I have been learning and studying with that being on a table is a really safe place for me.
Yeah.
And so I am able to kind of let go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that.
Can you do that when you are also working with somebody, when you're standing next to the table working with somebody who is on the table?
Yes.
That also feels that
it
great.
It feels it's a little more weighty.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one in charge.
Of course.
Like I'm the one who the client is paying to do a thing.
Yeah.
And I also feel really safe there because my goal is to create a real environment of safety for that person.
Right.
And if it's safe for them, it also is safe for me. And maybe that isn't always true, but for me, that has been true so far. And so, it's like being at the side of the table or being on the table. It's like, I'm like, that's a safe place.
What about you, Moose?
I think for me, I'm probably being in my therapist's presence. Like, like you were asking, can you just like flow into that or whatever? And it's like, I'll literally come in and go, here's a quick update of 5 minutes. Here's who I feel like I need to talk to this week. And at this point, there's a few off weeks where I just need to talk through a problem or something, but it generally this is the part that's raising its hand.
That's so cool.
So I feel safe and content in that space.
Love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we should just keep asking each other where we feel safe.
Okay.
How about you, Sarah?
Can you play that video, Sarah? Because this kind of plays into this, and I would love to get your guys' feedback.
Here we go.
The most interesting types of people to work with as a somatic-based trauma therapist is people who intellectualize their feelings. And the reason is because similar to those who are referred to as having high-functioning anxiety or depression, these folks often fall through the cracks. And the reason is because they can tell you where certain behaviors originated from, where their thought patterns come from, what they should do in order to change some of these pieces, but they still feel the same. And typically the root is that they're not connected to their bodies. So they think about it, they analyze their feelings, but they don't actually feel their feelings. They don't feel safe enough in their body too. So on the surface, someone might assume, okay, you're done therapy. There's no more work to do. Pack it up.
Can you guys relate to that?
Most definitely.
I watched that and I was like, oh my God, I'm that person she's talking about.
Yeah.
Because, and I even see the smile on my therapist's face sometimes when I'll be like, I mean, I know where it's from. It's from this, and here's the thought pattern and everything she just described. And then my therapist will say, can we just breathe and process what you just said? Which is kind of what I did to you earlier, where I was like, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Like, let's feel that.
Yeah.
But I don't ever feel safe in my own body. That's one thing I'm working on, is like embodiment, to really
love that.
I probably should come see you soon.
I mean, I would love it. I would love it. And I need some serious coaching. So it just,
great.
I mean, I think all of our listeners are like screaming at their windshields right now going, why don't you guys do this? Like, you talk about it all the time.
Look, if you listeners want to join us, we will start by doing a little retreat where we're going to, Kat's going to do some bodywork therapy, and I'm going to do some coaching therapy. None of these are words that we actually use. And Sarah's going to teach us all how to roll around on the floor and do yoga. She's great at yoga.
I don't know any names, but I like to stretch.
And then let's get 10 people signed up.
And
we'll do
to
it.
that one person who gave you constructive criticism this week about saying things that we're going to do and not doing them.
Yes.
Ooh.
I would like to dedicate this episode to that person.
Yes.
And that we might consider actually doing said retreat.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we would do that. I would do I think instead of like individual coaching, I'd like to do more. We can facilitate like some group stuff, but that would be really fun.
Yeah.
It would be.
Anyone wants to come to Nashville? Hey, sign us up. We're going to close that loop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was great seeing you all.
It's good seeing you
well.
too. Next week, I'm going to talk about cicadas and how they can piss 10 feet.
Wait, should we talk about it now?
No.
No.
That's
We've
called
got
a tease.
It's called a teaser.
Make sure you circle back.
Oh, I will.
Oh.
Special thanks to our producer, Sarah Reed.
To find out more, go to catandmoosepodcast.com. Cat and Moose is a BP production.